Oh, boy. Well, welcome, everyone, family of the world, to today's incredible gift from Katie on the work and parenting. I'm Susan Stiffelman. I guess I should start with that. And just so grateful to be here with you, and so blown away already just by the snake story. We've been chatting here for a few minutes, and
that's the snake that parented me this morning.
Yes, you're in for a treat. And first, let me just say that for those of you that won't be able to stay on for the entire call, we have definitely made replays available, so that's an option. But we hope that you'll join us and stick with this. We have a 3-part series on the work and parenting with Katie. I am Susan Stiffelman. I'm the weekly advice columnist for the Huffington Post. I'm called the Parent Coach. And I'm a marriage and family therapist and the author of 2 books, Parenting Without Power Struggles, and the most recent, Parenting with Presence, Practices for Raising Conscious, Confident, Caring Kids, which has a foreword by Eckhart Tolle. All of my work has been about really helping parents be what I call the captain of the ship in their children's lives. And Katie's work has been so vital to that premise, to this idea of holding a place for our children where we can love them and support them and stay connected with them without coming across as what I call the lawyer or the dictator. So I'm going to use my hands to kind of lay that out for you. If my right hand represents the parent and my left hand the child, then when you're the captain of the ship, I'll put it here. So, your child might say, I want to stay up and watch a scary movie. If you're the captain of the ship and you're in that place of calm connection, you can acknowledge their desire without going to battle with them. And this is where your work is so instrumental, because if we don't stay there, we go into lawyer mode, which is where we're pushing against our kids, they're pushing against us. Nobody's in charge. And if it goes worse, the child says, I hate you, you never do anything nice, you don't know what you're doing. And we're down here feeling, desperate and out of control and enraged because of the story we're believing. And so we go into dictator mode. And so your work, Katie, has been so personally transformational for me and in my work with parents. I can remember times when my son was a teenager and I'd have the story, he should remember to take his cell phone. And the lawyers in my head build the case. Yeah. How hard can that be? So then he walks in the door finally, and I'm coming at him as that lawyer. Why can't you remember your phone? But when I would do the work around that, it would make perfect sense to me. Yeah. And that's what we're really here to introduce to parents around the world today, is the possibilities of that.
Yeah, how to be the parent we always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, without, parenting without guilt and parenting without shame, parenting without anger, parenting with, out of a sense of understanding that's authentic, where it's not pretended or put upon ourselves as something we want it to be, rather something that it really is. Connection. Yeah.
Because, human beings are actually wired to resist coercion. We're actually wired for survival to resist the influence of those outside of our realm of attachment.
Until we really see there is no coercion.
Right.
It's all self-induced.
Yes.
And when we really understand that, we're open to everything and everyone, every situation. I mean, we may as well be, here it comes, we call it life. and when we're in resistance to life, then it's coercion. It's an illusion. It's all made up in our own minds, and then that's how we approach life. And that's how we approach our children.
Yes. And our children have this instinct that gets awakened when we come at them, when we push against them, that resistance.
They mirror back to us ourselves.
Exactly.
If I'm in resistance, my child learns the way to deal with life is to resist.
Yeah.
So, and I can't stop my children from thinking and believing whatever it is they're thinking and believing, but I can deal with myself, and out of that be the example, which we're always the example. I mean, it's just like, it's just a matter of what are we teaching? What is it? Where, if I have, if I'm arguing with my children, I'm teaching them, if you want to get in life, sweetheart, argue, and if you win, then, that's how you do it. That's how you live. But there is another way, and thankfully, I came to realize a lot, and I called it the work.
And I want people to hear a little bit of your story, so it's such a pleasure to have this time with you. Just like a bounty to really take what you've understood and apply it, in this case, to parenting, although it's all over, you can apply it to every possible aspect of life. So 26 years ago, something happened for you, and I'd love to.
Well, I was very depressed, and a depressed mother, a depressed parent is not the most high-functioning parent. And just, anytime I would strike out in anger or say something unkind or, those angry, the way we come at our children. And oh, my goodness, today I can see I was believing my thoughts. And of course I was angry. But at the time I couldn't. And so I was just in that depression, a terrible parent, basically. And then there was a moment in time when I recognized that when I believed my thoughts, I suffered, but when I didn't believe them, I didn't suffer. And I've come to see that this is true for every human being, and no human being has more wisdom than another. And to communicate this, I saw that it wasn't something that could be taught, but I saw it was something that all of us could understand, and that understanding came out of this process of inquiry that we'll experience today. And so, I just continued to question my beliefs about life. I came to see that life was fine. It's what I was believing about life, that my children were fine. We'll just say that, very broadly. It's what I was thinking and believing about them that needed a little work. And then, if their lives need work, then they'll take it on. But because they had a mother that understood how to shift her life so radically, they didn't even recognize me. But that's a big shift. And I'm not alone in that. I hear a lot of people in the work today playing that same thing and their experience back to me. But I shifted my life, and my children, it's never too late to parent. My youngest was 16 by then. And just through example, my children shifted. Never too late to parent.
Wow. So what's an example, if you'd like to share, of the before and after, maybe with one of your children,
An example. Oh, for one thing, who recognizes a mother that spends most of her time in bed, up, brushing her teeth, fixing breakfast, happily singing, which is shocking to hear a song come out of my mouth after all those years, maybe since high school choral group or something. But to experience that kind of mother and to say something and just kind of flinch back, just waiting for this angry response, this fearfulness that my children were so, we'll say, very wary of how I would react to what they said and did. Right. And then to see the smile on my face, and then they became a little braver. They could say a little more, and wait for the, for the trouble to hit, and just nothing but a smile and a conversation and a connectedness and an authenticity. And then they would get a little braver and a little braver, a little braver, and until finally I was hearing stories coming out of their mouths about me that that were so shocking. I don't know how they survived it, but it gave us a sense of intimacy and a relationship where they could say anything about me. And it was received in a way where we could both cry together, laugh together. This fearless relationship that developed. And you know, for my part, I was clear enough to be able to take this in without resistance, as we were pointing to earlier. The resistance, there was no coerciveness there.
Yeah.
They might say, "Mom, you were terrible. You were so you scared me. You know, on and on." And they weren't coercing me into some angry mode. They were telling me the truth, and if it really hit me hard, I knew it was something I needed to slow down and hear. I really needed to say, like, "Oh, honey, would you just say that again? Would you just say that again? And say it slowly. I want to take it in." And this identity just died and died and died and died, you know, to the point where, you know, they are parenting me. And that's what a loving that's what for me, a loving parent is one that listens no matter what my 3 children or my 5 grandchildren now come back and offer as a way of sharing themselves with me, sharing their most intimate selves with me. I mean, how does it get more intimate than that? I mean, oh my gosh, they say something positive, I'm delighted. They say something to other people that may sound negative. To me, it's positive. They're giving me their minds. What is more intimate than that? I mean, don't you want to know everything your children think?
Well,
Don't you want to know what they really think of you?
In my work, I talk about how we override. One of the ways we build connection is by fostering attachment. And Gordon Neufeld has 6 stages that he talks about that every one of us go through in the first 6 years of life, if all is well, that kind of like the roots of a tree, these roots go into the ground. And the final stage is being known. So as you were talking, like the deepest root, the place where that is the sturdiest and deepest is in being known. And what you were saying was really, can we hold ourselves in a place where we allow our children, no matter their age, to reveal themselves to us without
and
reacting.
To reveal me to me.
Yeah.
Revealing themselves to me, revealing me to me. I mean, if you're narcissistic, this really, in the final analysis, this works if your mind is open. But it takes a very open mind, and that's what inquiry. That's the gift of inquiry.
Yeah.
You know, I'm open. I'm open to what could they say that wouldn't grow me if my mind is open. So it's like they enlighten me to me, and so it's quite a journey. This being so open to the world and how they see me to be, and I can't. I can see. So much through the world's eyes. We're always worried about what the the world thinks of us. Well, what if it's a turnaround? Not worried about the world thinks of me. It shows me those pieces of me that I'm resisting. Those identities that I'm living out of that I'm not aware of. So they wake me up to that. Wake me up to that. So if freedom is what you want, it's an odd package as I listen to the way this is coming out right now. But so true and believe it or not, so lovely.
Yeah. Oh, believe it. This is the one of the things that I said to you before we began how grateful I am to you for making time to do this. I'm just so amazed that you're giving so generously of your time. And
I was telling Susan, it's as hard as she works to support people, to parent their children, and her wonderful books and all is, it's for me, for any of us not to support something that giving, that that loving. You know, I'd have to be crazy not to. And it also allows me, it frees me up. It frees all of us up because you're out here working so hard or giving so much, depending on how you see it. It's hardly work, is it?
No, it's such a joy.
Yeah.
And as we said before, you know, to be able to make contact with parents around the world to offer something that has the potential to really lift their lives, their children's lives, allow their children to be seen and shine more brightly and have peace in the home.
Yeah.
And
happy parent, happy child.
Happy parent, happy
miserable
child.
Parent, miserable child.
Yes, exactly. And for those of you that don't know Katie's work very well, we're going to do it in these 3 episodes, these 3 webinars, which is really such a gift. And I know that on the link on the hosting page, we actually have a way for people to volunteer. I think there may still be some opportunity to do that as well. So pretty soon, if it's all right with you, I think we'll move into doing the work with some of the callers.
Good.
I want to kind of just emphasize a couple of things for those who might not be familiar. So, and you'll, of course, better say this than me, but when we talk about doing the work, we're certainly not here to talk about a philosophy or an idea or a different mindset. You know, I just did this new book, Parenting with Presence, and there are some of the quotes in there and come from some other interviews and conversations I've had, one of them with Jon Kabat-Zinn. And Jon Kabat-Zinn talks about how you're living with children is like living with little Zen masters, right? And as you've said, you know, like who wouldn't want, well, if we're protected and afraid, we wouldn't. But the opportunity that our children provide is to say, right over there, and oh, by the way, and there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a true Zen master, it would seem to me they would be honest with you and straightforward and point out those places that you need to work on. So that would be our children. You know, they say, Mommy, you were mean this morning. And it's like, oh, little Zen master, you know. Should I say, you're mean too? Or should I just contemplate that for a moment? Those little pearls of wisdom. Was I mean? This, oh my goodness. I see it. You can see, you know, that moment in time as it brings you back to your heart and you connect with it and you begin to connect with that child, and the intimacy is so great that, you know, it's like you're at a level with the master at that point, that little Zen master with that, and your faces are even matching in that moment, and it's all going on inside of you, and that connection is so great, and your arms open, and that's what I love about children. When it's authentic, they'll open to you, and if they don't, you understand. And it's so I love Jon Kabat-Zinn. He's such a gentle, wise power.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that we announce to our children how much truth they can tell us by our how we either respond or react. So if your child says, you know, by the way, you know, I think I should tell you that I was at a party and they were passing around pot and, you know, I tried some, and you're, what? You know, and you're coming at them as the lawyer, or your own internal dialogue is, not my child. It must mean I'm a bad parent. And now you're trying to, you know, assert some pretend control. Then you've now announced to your child, don't tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And as you so beautifully said, and you've closed down the intimacy. So if the story that you tell is a different story, which we're going to demonstrate.
Yeah. And if, you know, my child said that, you know, I was at a party and and they passed around dope, and I know that you didn't want me at the party. And you know, my first response as you brought that scenario forward is, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I get to be at the party now. You know, because I trust my child completely. Why wouldn't I? He's standing here in front of me. He's safe, he's sound, that's reality. And he's sharing this thing with me because I'm a safe place.
Yeah.
And I get to, honey, tell me everything. There was dope there. Did it frighten you? You know, it's against the law. And how were you with that? Wow. And I mean, why would I have to teach someone that age what they already know? But they can enlighten me, and I don't have to smoke the dope or be there or go to the party or any of it. You know, I have my children who bring their lives to me. and all of us aren't quite there yet, but I get to hear, you know, what was going on in my child. And you might say, you know, it was illegal and it was really scary, and I stayed and I knew I should have. I mean, he's saying words that, and finally I left, and I'm so glad to be home in bed. And not one word. He's saying every single thing that I would have said if I were confused. Like, oh my, don't you know that's illegal? Don't you know the police could show up? Don't you know? I mean, he's telling me that already. So I am always preaching to the choir when I am coming at my child. Yeah. Wow. You know, it's. Wow. I mean, it's like, duh, they don't know it's illegal. Yeah, let's see. I've told them, you know, how many. I can't even count how many times. Yeah. You know, it's
beautiful.
Yeah.
So we get to really, this in my language, be the captain of the ship by using the work.
Love is non-resistant, and the work is a way to identify, let's use that scenario, it's a way to identify what we're thinking and believing in that situation where the son says, Mom, I'm afraid to tell you this, but, and it is, we identify what we're thinking and believing that would cause us to attack that our child, the love of our life, the love of our life.
Yeah.
And so there's got to be another way.
And here we go.
Here we go.
Because there is another way. And it has so much to do with the realization that you had. Would you like to sort of just describe what the work is, and then maybe we can invite a caller?
So again, the work is a way to identify and question the thoughts that you yourself are thinking in those moments of stress or anger or resistance or separation. So we'll just call it stress. So we identify it, and then we question it. Like, he does not understand that they had illegal drugs there. He does not understand they could be arrested. So the first question is it true? He doesn't understand. We'll say he doesn't understand that he could be arrested. Can I absolutely know that it's true that my son does not understand that he could be arrested at that party last night? And how do I react when I believe that thought? And he's telling me he was there and there was dope there, illegal drugs. How do I react when I believe that thought? I become fearful. I begin to give him the look like he's stupid. I give him the look like, what is the matter with you? And then I say it. I become abusive. And when we're fearful, abusive is fear. He tries to talk, I interrupt him. Let's see, how do I react when? See, I've been through this with one of my children, big time, and how do I react when I believe the thought? Doesn't he know that that's illegal? I look at him like I'm way up here and he's way down there. There's huge separation, and I'm really, really scared. That's how I react when I believe the thought. So the fourth question of this inquiry is, who would I be without the thought in that situation when he's telling me that? Looking into his eyes, I see he's safe. I'm so grateful. I see he trusts me enough and he's really scared to tell me this. I really see him. I see him without superimpose my story on him, without superimposing that thought on him. He doesn't understand he could be arrested. I'm connected. So with the story, I notice I'm disconnected with him and at odds. And without the story, I'm entirely connected. So I see that in that inquiry, in those two questions. And so then we turn it around. He doesn't understand that he could be arrested. He does understand that he could be arrested. Yeah, he understands that. I've told him that for years. We've discussed it before. I know he understands that. And also, I can ask him. So that gives me a way to meet him again. So he doesn't understand that he could be arrested. Another turnaround is, I don't understand that he could be arrested. So as a parent, where is it that maybe I haven't been as informative as I could? Which is a discussion I could have with him again. But it opens the discussion in a whole different way. Rather than me preaching and yelling and out of fear, we can sit down and together and begin to see what's legal and what's not legal. And it could be that he's some kind of future attorney, that this could be the first time he sits down and is influenced in this way. And because we enjoyed it so much together, he becomes interested in law. Or anything that he does in his life, I can see how that would serve. And especially when he becomes a parent, he has an example of how to deal with children in this area, at least this area. So first question, is it true? And then, can you absolutely know that it's true? How do you react and believe the thought? Who would you eat without the thought? And these questions are always free on thework.com. If there's anything valuable here you can get from me, it's always free at thework.com. And with all the directions.
Yes, and you just have so many resources there for parents, for anyone to come and do this process with the 4 questions and the turnarounds. And I mean, there's ways that you can get walked through it. There's so many workshops that you do as well, but that content is all available to people. And as you listen to this webinar, if you find yourself interested, and you'll explain, I'm sure, about the worksheet, that this is a free resource that allows you to write down the stories and beliefs and thoughts that cause you to move into that place of judgment, shame, separation, coming at your children instead of alongside them.
Yeah. So there's a caller.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
this is Allison from the UK.
Allison from you. Hi, Allison. So
hello, Katie. Hello, Susan.
So read the email that you sent.
Right. My question: how can I have a loving and mutually respectful relationship with my son, who's now aged 20, when I find him impossible to live with because of his attitude and behaviour? He won't talk to me, so I have no idea what it is that I need to or could do to make things better, or if I just need to do nothing. It's so painful.
Yes, sweetheart. Oh, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. There's no time that I cannot relate, having 3 children and 5 grandchildren. And whereas I went to bed and to try to escape and compulsive overeating and all kinds of things, I love that you do better than I did. And it's a privilege to be with you this morning. And this morning from the U.S. And so it's impossible for you to live with him. Are you living with him? Does he live with you?
No, he doesn't at the moment.
Okay. So in that situation where he was living with you, it's impossible.
It was impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought? It was impossible. It's impossible to live with him.
Just feel really, really upset.
Yeah.
Very hurt.
Yeah.
And all sorts of failure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you experience the emotions that go with that.
Yeah.
And who would you be in this moment now without the thought living with him is impossible? just now. It doesn't mean, all you parents out there, it doesn't mean you have to invite him back. You know, it's just that this is inquiry, and it's just right now in this moment, in this situation, who would you be without the thought it's impossible to live with him? So look around you. Are you okay?
Yeah, just, it feels like letting go of something big and heavy.
Yes, those
freedom.
That past and future in your head, all those images, and here you are, just right here, right now. You know, so is it him that was causing your stress, or what you were thinking and believing about him that caused your stress?
Yeah, what I was thinking and believing.
Yes, in this moment now, which is the only moment you're ever going to experience. I mean, this is everything. So living with him is impossible. Turn it around. Living with myself.
Living with myself is impossible.
Yes, in that moment when you are believing that thought, and so upset, living with you was impossible with that in your head. And without that in your head, this amazing experience and connection with reality. This is it. This is a gift. And it always is, whether our sons are living with us or not. And some of us aren't quite there yet, but this is it. So it's impossible to live with my son. Can you find another turnaround? It's possible.
It's possible to live with my son.
And how many years did you live with him?
20, over 20.
That's a lot. That is more than most of us as parents can say. And just feel that you did it, and you gave it. When you consider what you were thinking and believing, you and everyone plugged into this program today, you gave him everything you had, for better, for worse. It all came out of love. I mean, even when we're even when we're screaming that, don't you know there are drugs in that house? You know, not your son, but our hypothetical one earlier. Do you know there are drugs in? You know, it's like, I am terrified for my son. It's all coming out of love.
Yeah.
So you lived with him. You know, it wasn't impossible for you to live with him. So in this stillness that you discover in who you are without the thought, you can just get still in that and connect with that beautiful, loving parent that you were. And all that you gave him, your life. Your life. All out of love. And I would so fill in a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet on him. Now, he's quiet. He won't talk. He is holding everything in.
Yeah.
That's the situation. So you see it in your mind's eye when he was there? You see a situation where he just won't talk. He's just silent. You see that?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
So in that situation, how do you react? What are your fears when you look at him? What are you thinking and believing in that situation?
That he hates me.
Okay. What else?
That I'm... Yeah, he's rejecting me.
Yes.
That's a big one.
Yes.
And that, I've failed.
Yes.
As his parent.
So I'm hearing you don't know what to say to him. You don't know what to do either. So now you know. When he's quiet like that and he's completely shut down, then you can go to him and say, I want to share my fears with you. And I don't expect you to hear me or listen, but I want to share them with you. I'm afraid you hate me. And I'm afraid, what were the other two?
Failure.
I'm afraid you see me as a failure, as a mother. And I want you to know I'm here for you, and I really love you. And I'm so afraid of your silence. And also, I feel like, what was the third one?
Reject.
Can't remember now.
I feel like you reject me. Susan's holding this for us.
Yes.
I'm afraid that you reject me as a mother. And as I look at myself, I understand why you would feel that way if in fact you do, because I am so quiet. And I don't share my feelings with you or my thoughts. And if you're open to it, I'd like to share more as it comes to me. And I'm really afraid. Now, he can respond to that or not, but one of you is now breaking the silence. One of you is talking, and one of you are coming 100% from your heart. And you're connected to something that is so valuable. You're getting your voice back.
Yeah. Because I have tried, but I realize thinking about it now that I then got angry.
Yeah.
So it sort of began with the right intentions,
Yeah.
but didn't stick with the...
But how could you get angry when you just shared such deep truths with him? We become angry, we share these deep truths, and then we become angry when we think, he's supposed to listen to me. He's supposed to hear me. So those are the things that belong, that's the situation that belongs on a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And in our next series of this 3-part series, we'll surely get into that Judge Your Neighbor worksheet from start to finish. In the meantime, sweetheart, it's on thework.com. And we have certified facilitators on that website that if those of you having a little trouble with this at first, you can contact one of them, and they're amazing. Also, we have a free helpline and where you can fill in a worksheet from the website, and you can call the helpline. They don't ask who you are, where you're from. We just completely leave that to you. And we work a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet through for you. So, and sweetheart, you're very brave. You're very brave. But as parents, it's when it comes to our children, we're capable of anything. And one of those things is to get help. And thank you for looking to thework.com. Thank you for looking to the work and this series.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. So, Susan, amazing, huh? As parents, I relate so well. Yeah.
I oftentimes parents say, I'll take a bullet for my child, or I'll, stand in front of the train. I know when my son was placed in my arms, if somebody tries to hurt this child, I'll just rip their head off very calmly.
Yeah.
That part of us, if we can access that part that would do what's needed, then we can reach, as she just did. There was such a humility, not a defensiveness, but yes, there is a way I can look behind the corner here. Yeah. And what you shared has so moved me, because for Allison, I kept hearing this thing of the story that she's telling that makes her afraid to come alongside her son. And when you did the work with her, helping her understand that all she has to do is tell the truth and be vulnerable without needing a reaction or response from him.
But I think the truth is what's so difficult to discover. And these 4 questions and turnarounds just make it boom, right there in our face. And the wisdom is coming from inside as we as we write our thoughts down and then question them, I mean, there it is. It's just a given. You know, that expression, ask and you'll receive. Well, that's what we're doing. We're saying, is it true? It's asking, and we wait, and then we're shown, and all through the 4 questions and turnarounds. So I love this. It leaves us not to ever have to guess again. Because memory will give us those moments in time where we were not that happy with our parenting, and we were not that happy with our children. Yeah. Yeah. And those situations are always, just remembering those and those moments in time. That's all it takes to do this work.
And then you write it down, and she did, as she did, discovered, well, the truth is, I'm afraid that he hates me. Yeah. The truth is, I feel that I'm a failure as a parent. Yeah. And to so vulnerably, without being needy, come to him and just tell the truth, now establishes a completely different playing field. That's on this field, it's not about me coercing you or convincing you to behave a certain way or give me a certain response. Yeah. I'm here to say that in this realm now, in this home, we just speak from our hearts and tell the truth.
And listening to you, Susan, I became aware of another one that is it's such personal work. It's like, I'm afraid he hates me. We question that, and then by the time we turn it around, we're so soft. But it still comes, to say, I'm afraid I hate him. And as a parent, we hit that one. It is we're so terrified of that, it just does not have an opportunity to hit the surface, even though we can I'm trying to think of a time, could I even scream it out? I couldn't. The thought was so terrifying. Yeah. But I was afraid. Yeah. I hated that child of mine in that moment. And so that turnaround is like, I'm afraid I hate him. It is just to wear that. In other words, experience it and just to take it in and go, oh, my hell. Oh, my God. And we've already experienced that 4 question, who would I be without it? And so you're so connected to your child and so in love that the two of them just kind of start to, you say, I love him with all my heart. It's an experience. It's authentic. And then I'm afraid I hate him. Then you see those moments when you were believing your thoughts. And so it takes courage to do this work, but it takes courage not to. And living like that where we're at war or odds with our children, that's painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, should we do another person?
Good.
Another caller?
So Kristen from Minnesota. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
So, sweetheart, read what you've written.
So right now I'm a single mom of 3 kids, ages 7, 4, and 2, and I also work full-time. So my question is, at times my kids seem starved for attention. How do I give them the individual attention that they need, and how do I know if it's enough?
Yeah. So you work at home, right?
Right.
Full-time at home, and you have these 3 children. So which child seems to be the neediest of the 3?
Probably the 2-year-old, but she gets the attention she needs.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about her so much. I'm more worried about the middle, the 4-year-old that doesn't always stick up for himself and ask for what he needs.
Yeah. Okay. So find a situation where a moment in time, working as a full-time mother with these 3 children at home, these babies, we'll call them babies, and I have a 52-year-old that still my baby. I might not say that to him, but I might too. But let's say these 3 babies, and where's a situation that you remember where, just a moment in time where you felt that little 4-year-old was neglected attention-wise, where she really needed attention and wasn't getting it? A situation where you felt terrible about it later.
It usually happens, you know, right around dinner time, and he likes to play a video game together, and he's asking me to play a game with him. And I feel like I haven't spent much time with him all day. And I tell him that I can't. I don't have enough time.
Okay.
I feel terrible.
Okay. So on this Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, do you have one in front of you?
No.
Okay. So do you have a blank piece of paper and pen? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are your thoughts in that situation? And your little girl, is that what you said? Little boy is saying, Mommy, play the game with me, please. So you see that in your mind's eye? You see that? Where were you when this was happening? In the dining room? In the kitchen? Where was it?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen, okay. And you're preparing dinner? Mm-hmm. Okay, you're preparing dinner, and Mommy, play the game with me. Okay, play the video game with me. So, so what were you experiencing? What I'm sad because, or I'm frustrated because. What was it about that child that frustrated you, or?
Frustrated because I want to spend time with him and I want to play with him, and
because he needs you.
Yeah, feeling bad that I have to tell him that I can't.
You were believing that he needed you, right?
Yeah, that he's not. It feels like he's not my priority. That something else is my priority. So
okay,
food is the priority.
So I'm frustrated at myself because he is not my priority. Okay, so write that down. He is not my priority. I'm frustrated at myself, at my child, because he's not my priority, or myself, whatever. Okay. Now, sweetheart, in statement 2 on the worksheet, on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, what did you want? So all of you parents out there, if you found a situation similar in that moment in time, all you have to do is get still with it. We're meditating on that moment in time. You're in the kitchen. What did you want? I want my child to. I want
him to understand that he is important to me.
Good. So write that down. I want him to understand he's important to me. What other wants were running in your head?
I want him to understand that I have other things to do that are.
So write that down. I want him to understand I have other things to do. Okay, so there could be more in there as you meditate on that moment in time. But let's move to advice. What advice would you offer this little 4-year-old to get what you want? What advice would you offer that child? He should, he shouldn't?
He should be patient.
Good. So write that one down. He should be patient.
He should know that I love him.
Good. Excellent. Write that down. Can you all see that little hand? Oh, so beautiful. You're a mommy. Okay, sweetheart. Any other advice you would offer him? You see his little face there saying, Mommy, Mommy, and you're trying to fix dinner. What advice would you offer him as you just look at him? What advice would you offer him to get what you want?
For him to believe that I am enough. For what I'm giving him is enough.
Good. So write that down. Okay, so now let's move to, in that moment, you're feeling frustrated. So what do you need to be happy, to go from frustrated to happy? What do you need from him? What do you need him to say or do for you to be happy?
I understand, Mommy. We can play later.
Okay. So I need him to say, I understand, Mommy. We can play later. So write that down. So anything else that you need for him? That pretty much covers the need, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. So now what are your thoughts about him as you look at him? You're trying to get dinner. You have 2 other children. You've worked all day. He's
so needy.
He is needy. Write that down for statement 5 on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet.
He's impatient.
He's impatient.
Enough is never enough. He's never satisfied.
He's never satisfied. Okay, sweetheart. Now, what is it about him and that situation you don't ever want to experience again?
Just that feeling of frustration, of feeling stretched so thin.
Yeah, so I don't ever want to feel so stretched. I don't ever want to feel stretched so thinly again.
Boy.
Yeah, so write that one down for statement 6. Okay, so now we have respectfully given that moment in time our focus. Because in that moment of time, that's where where traumas happen. That's where disagreement happens. It's where parenting happens. Hi, honey.
Hi.
So let's look at statement number 1 again. So he is not your priority. In that moment in time, in that situation, he is not your priority. Is it true?
No.
No, so feel that. Yes, you have dinner to cook. Yes, you have 2 other children. But look at you in that moment. He's your priority. You're not giving him what he wants, and maybe you're not saying the things you want to say. But look at your focus.
No!
So notice how you react when you believe the thought he's not your priority. Notice what happens.
It feels bad. It feels...
And you become anxious, frustrated. Now look at him in that situation. He's saying, Mommy, Mommy, I want you to play video with me. Look at him without the thought he's not my priority. Just look at him. Get connected with his eyes, his face. You see him? Is he okay?
No.
Without your thoughts, is he okay? Just drop your story. Look at him.
He is.
He's clearly expressing himself. He's 4.
Right.
And he's telling you what he wants.
That's great.
And look at you. You're the kind of mother he can trust to do that with. And you're talking to him. You're answering with all you have to do. He's your priority. It may not look like it to you or anyone else, but when you get in touch with, that's what was going on. So he's not my priority. Turn it around. He is. Now another turnaround. He's not my priority. Turn it around. I'm not my priority. Try that one on.
That one I resonate with because I'm the last priority.
Yeah. So you have this household, you're working full-time, and the person at the bottom of your list is you. So the person in your household running that household is the last person you choose. Because that was not getting any time.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So you hear your baby right now is going, Mommy, that's his world. That's her world. Mommy. And look, you're your priority, so you can hear it. You're connected with your child and what they're saying. You're holding them. But there's a balance because you're coming out of yourself right now. You feel that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the child on your lap can scream, Mommy, Mommy, and you can stay connected. You're your priority. And then your parenting comes out of that experience. Balance. So let's look at statement 2 on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. You said, I want him to understand he is important to me. So look at him. You see him in your mind's eye. You're trying to get dinner out. And look at him. You see how insistent he is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Having recognized that, you want him to understand that he's important to you. Is it true? He's 4 years old. And he's focused on a video game. And you want him to understand how important he is to you. Is that true? When you really look at the situation? Mm-hmm. How could he? And maybe he does. You want him at 4 years old to understand how important he is to you. Can you absolutely know that it's true, that that's what you want?
Yes.
So how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought? You want him to understand that he's important to you.
I just want him to know that I love him.
Okay, you want him to know that you love him. Mm-hmm. Is that true? He's 4 years old.
I think he knows it, and I think he can feel it.
But you want him to be aware of it in that moment. He's 4 years old.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
Probably not.
And then even if he said it, would you believe it?
No, probably not.
Yeah. He's 4. And really, this applies to everyone else, too, at any age. So notice what happens to your life on top of everything else you've got when you want him to understand that you love him, that you want him to understand that you love him. Notice what happens. You become frustrated, right? Mm-hmm. And empty.
Right.
And burned out and tired. Those emotions wear us out.
Right.
And we forget to put the mustard on the bun. So now look at that child. Look at that beautiful child without the thought, I want him to understand I love him. You see him?
Yeah.
He's focused. He's asking for what he wants. And it just became all about you. I want him to know how much I love him. You're not listening.
Right. It's so hard to get out of here.
Well, it's about him. He wants a video game. He's not in the class of show your mother you love her at 4 years old.
Prove it.
Yeah. So in that moment when we're believing the thought, it becomes, I want him to parent me.
Yeah.
I need to know. He wants to play video, but I need to know that he knows I love him. So you're both 4 years old. I want him to know that I love him. Turn it around. I don't want. Try that one on. Say that one. I don't want.
I don't want him to know that I love him.
No, he's busy. He's asking you a simple question. And you're not dealing with it. You've got a whole other agenda running. I want. 2 4-year-olds competing. Both needy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need him to know that I love him. Turned around, I don't need.
I don't.
No. Now, let's turn it around again. Put you on all of it. I need me.
I need me to know that I love me.
Yes. Because you're the one that needs someone to love her in that moment. And you're the one you're with. And you're the one that wants it. He's not psychic. And sweetheart, there's another turnaround. I want me to know that I love
him.
And listen to what he wants and address it. I love you. I'm preparing dinner. We can talk later, but only say that if it's true. It may be, we can discuss this in the morning. It may be, but it leaves you to get in touch with yourself and parent in a way that your children can trust. And when you trust you, and when your mind is clear, you always do. When your mind is clear, then you know what you want. Okay, so you want him, and then that other one you had, I want him to understand he's important to me. I want me to understand that I'm important to me right now because I need my help.
Right.
It's become all about me, and I'm missing my child. And then another turnaround, I want me to understand that he's important to me. I want me to understand that he's important to me. And he deserves an honest answer, not another 4-year-old's cry for, yeah, but I want you to know you to know I love you. Fun, huh? It's self-realization, it just lights up the whole world. And with 3 children the way that you, and working full-time at home, oh my gosh, you're into some really good stuff here. So let's look at advice. He should be patient. Is that true? Look at him. He's 4.
Yeah. No.
No. He should know that you love him. Is that true in that moment? No. He should believe that what you are giving him is enough. Look at him. Doesn't that sound crazy now? What we write from the depths of our heart becomes so laughable when we're awake to it. Because we're growing up. We're maturing with our children.
Yeah.
We're catching up with our 4-year-olds. So he should be patient. Let's turn the whole thing around. He should be patient. Well, first, he should be patient. How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? So look at him in that moment in time. He's saying, will you play video with me? Mommy, 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 please, please, please. He should be patient. Is it true?
No, and it seems ridiculous.
Yes, because you're present with that child. And it's never too late. It doesn't matter if it happened 10 years ago. It's never too late. It changes the way we see everything now. So this work you're doing on him relates to everyone in your life eventually. He should be patient. Is it true? Notice how you react when you believe that thought, when you believe that onto a little guy or any human being. You see what happens? Mm-hmm. Dinner becomes work instead of fun. The sound of your other children in the background become noise instead of music. You drop a glass or on the floor and it breaks rather than just experiencing its life. And the beauty of that, it becomes an enemy. So, and with children, we can have some broken dishes occasionally too. It's how we react and what happens when we're believing our thoughts and not in touch with ourselves. So, he should know that he should be patient. Look at him, sweetheart, in that situation without that thought, without this story put on him. Look at him. And hear his voice and hear his words. Get connected. That's him. That's him. That's your son. That's not who you believed him to be. It's your son instead. The real deal, the authentic little guy just asking for what he wants. Beautiful, huh? So let's turn all these shoulds around, because these wants, shoulds, and needs, these are your prescription for happiness while you're parenting in this situation. So turned around, he should not be patient. He should not know that I love him. He wants to play a video. He's focused. He should not believe that what you are giving him is enough. Does that make more sense now? Yes. Okay. So here's your prescription for happiness. Turn it around all to yourself. I should be. You see on your where you wrote it, I should be patient. Mm-hmm.
I should know that I love him.
You feel that? Mm-hmm. Remember, stay connected. You're parenting yourself. I should know that I love him. It's not for him to love me. I should know. He wants to video. Mm-hmm. I should know that I love him. I should know that I love. So, and the next one, I should
know that
he should not believe. Now, go ahead and say what you were saying.
I should know that he is my priority.
Yes. And I should believe that what I am giving him is enough. Mm-hmm. That's so powerful. You're giving him the truth. And if he doesn't like it, that's his to deal with. And it's your job to stay connected as a parent. Mm-hmm. And understand him, not the other way around.
Right.
And it's not this deep understanding. He's telling you. There's nothing to try to understand. There's no psychology needed here. He wants to play video, and you have an answer for him.
Right.
Can I jump in with you?
Yes.
This is just brilliant because you get to be empowered to not put the responsibility for this relationship on your 4-year-old. And one of the things, as you were speaking about, just at the end then, when you talked about then you get to be authentic and really connected, I often say that we're not raising children, we're raising adults. And in that moment, if you're not needy, you're not needing him to prove that he knows he's loved, you're able to be patient with what you can give, then you create this incredible opportunity for your little boy to have this attuned experience with his mother as he goes through some disappointment, which is how we build a resilient adult. That when you're not needing him to prove that, oh, it's okay, I understand mommy's trying or she's really busy, he gets to just sit with his disappointment or his sadness in the presence of this loving mother who's making dinner saying, sweetheart, I know it's just not the answer you were hoping for.
And he has opportunity to take care of himself because he is with a wise parent, a loving, caring, wise parent, connected. So far, for good parenting in that situation, if you follow your own advice, the advice you wanted him to follow, it would look like, I should be patient with myself and with him. And I should know that I love him because I'm not feeling that way right now. So I need to wake me up to this fact that I love him, and I need to know that I love me. And it's easy to love me when I love him, and easy to love him when I love me. And I should believe that I am giving him enough. Yeah. And I should believe that I am giving me enough. Because you've got a lot on your plate. Yeah. Okay, so now statement 4 on your worksheet. What are your needs? I need him. You see on your page? I need him to say, I understand, Mommy, we can play later. Mm-hmm. Okay? So how would you turn that around? I need me to say
that I
understand
that we can play later.
We can play later. So, and the way you wrote it is, I understand, Mommy, we can play later. Mm-hmm. That's the way you said it. So where it says Mommy, let's be sure and put his name there. It's important because this wisdom coming out of you backward, when it's turned around, it's pure wisdom. It's the opposite of ego. So what you said was, I need him to say, I understand, Mommy, we can play later. This is your prescription for happiness. I need me to say to, what's his name?
Leon.
I understand, Leon, we can play later. Mm-hmm. And you look into his eyes and you're connected. And he can go, yeah, but I want to play video. I want to play. And you can stay connected. And when he's done, you can say, I understand, sweetheart. And we can play later. And you continue there's nothing you can't deal with preparing dinner and staying connected and hearing the sound of his frustration, feeling connected, empathetic, understanding, because it wasn't so long ago that you were in the same spot. So we're really standing in the shoes of these little people that are reflecting our old lives back or our present ones. Yeah. So now on statement 5 on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, you wrote, or you said, he is so needy. So look at him. He's needy. Is it true?
Yeah.
So look again. That's, the work is meditation, and it could still be a yeah, but we couldn't give them the time and connectedness they needed then, and we missed it. So now let's give us that. He is so needy. Is he needy, or is he just asking for what he wants in the only way he knows how?
Right.
Great.
He's just being a kid.
And it could be he's needy, but what do we know? When we look at that, he's just, and then we notice at some point they just go on and play later. I mean, they just go on and with their lives. No big traumatic thing happening here. And we can watch them, how quickly they move through these things that we think are devastating to them.
Yeah.
So I need him to say, he is so needy. Notice how you react when you believe that thought. You become needy.
Yeah.
You want his focus moved to, it's all about you.
Right. And impatient, and I'm never enough.
Yeah. So he is so needy. Looking at him without the thought, he is so needy. You see him express.
He's just asking for what he wants.
Yeah. So he is so needy, turn it around. I
am so needy.
Yes, in that situation. So parent yourself. You're the one that needs it now. He's got his life together there. He's just looking for an answer. And he may have to hear that truth several times, but you have the truth down. I understand. We can play later. I hear you. Okay, but I wouldn't say we can play later if it weren't true. Yeah. So when you're parenting yourself, you become in touch with this, which is what you're doing now. So he is so needy. What is the opposite of needy? Capable?
Satisfied.
Okay. So he is so needy. Let's try capable. Turned around. He is so...
Capable.
Look at him.
He is.
And it says so much for you that he wants to play video with you. He's including you in his life. That's a lot for you. I'm just, he's, no matter how frustrated you get, he just keeps coming back. That's really says a lot for you and your relationship. So he is impatient. Is it true? Look at him again. So turned around.
He is patient. I'm impatient.
Now look how patient he is with you. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. He tries every little trick in the book, and then he just goes on about his way.
Right.
Yeah. So he is never satisfied. Is that true? No. Turn it around. I am
never satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what we expect, even from our 4-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Who's never satisfied as parents. And as you look at this, you become quickly satisfied with whatever they give. It's just a beautiful thing. So we're rushing through this. All of you that are looking to this, we're rushing through it. But if you've written your Judge Your Neighbor worksheets out at home, slow it down. Meditate on what you've written as you fill in the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, what you're writing, and meditate on your answers as you witness that situation in time. So I don't ever want to feel stretched so thinly again. So the turnaround for that is I am willing to. So say it that way. Instead of I don't ever want to feel stretched so thinly again, I am willing to.
to feel stretched thinly.
Again. And I look forward to.
This was the hardest thing for me when I was introduced to the work.
Yeah, I look forward to feeling stretched so thinly again, because it shows us and it's like Susan says, it's difficult, at first, but it shows us where our work isn't done. It shows us where we are not complete as parents. And if parenting is it's life. It's coming. It could happen again. So am I prepared for it or not? And if I am if I am frustrated with my child, it just shows me my work's not done, and it's another worksheet.
And this thing of being stretched so thinly with 3 children, even with 1 child, it so comes with the territory.
Oh, boy.
That if we're in resistance to that reality that, oh, well, I want to have my 3 children but not be stretched so thinly, then our experience of daily life is going to be so stressful and so difficult. Whereas when we accept that this is, I talk in my book about snapshot child syndrome or snapshot life syndrome. If the snapshot says, I'm never supposed to be stretched thinly, but then the real life is all about, making it up as we go and stretching. If we throw the snapshot away, which is what inquiry is about, then we have the freedom to be, wow, here I am, just stretched to the limit.
Yeah, and if when you really have to gather that child, you've got 2 to go. But what I love about this work is you do the work on 1, and it happens, across the board. And as you get in touch with yourself, when there's something out of order, eventually you really begin to get that if there's something out of order, I look to me, because here's where it's created and here's where it can be taken care of. So it doesn't require my children to take care of me.
Yeah.
It just requires me to take care of me, and out of that, I can parent.
And there's one more piece that I'd like to throw in, Kristen, about this experience of never feeling that you've given enough to the child or or never feeling that you're doing well enough. That there's a place where if you can be present with that, just allowing that to sort of be there, maybe even a sadness, a feeling of disappointment or discouragement, without fighting it intellectually, it should be different, but rather just, okay, that is my experience right now. I wish I could give my 4-year-old my time. And there's a little bit of sometimes I advise parents, just pat your heart, there, with this self-kindness and compassion that, yeah, it would be great. I wish I could. And in this moment, it's about dinner. Instead of arguing with the feeling, in this kind, sort of merciful way, feeling the disappointment, the sadness, being present is what I'm trying to get at. And then it seems like it reconfigures how we show up with our children when we've made peace internally with sort of the cold facts of parenthood.
Yeah, it's like living out of question 4, who I am without my story, as opposed to living in question 3, how I react when I believe the thoughts I'm thinking about my child. And just to feel it, as Susan said, just to allow that question 3 to show you how you react when you believe the thought. And you come to see that even if you time your feelings, they'll shift. Because the mind just moves to something else. But no matter how you're experiencing your emotions, what you're thinking and believing are the cause of those emotions. Yeah. So every time we do the work, we're looking at original cause, that cause. And emotions and the way we parent are the effects of what we're believing. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen. You speak for a lot of parents.
I was just thinking that. What parent doesn't get challenged by the belief that I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not giving enough.
Yeah. And they say, Mommy, Mommy. He doesn't care about me.
Right.
He doesn't love me. It's like they're going, Mommy, Mommy. We're going, well, this is just all about me. Me. And then there's I. And I mean, we are children that have, as long as we're believing this kind of thinking, where, our bodies grow up. And we give an age to it, but we stay in these 4-year-old minds as grown adults, and we wonder, what's the problem? And here we are, children, parenting children, they're just different sizes.
And that's the beauty of parenting. I know we have to wrap up soon, but this possibility that in the midst of the chaos and craziness and drama and the asking and the needs and the demands, that we can hold a place. Sometimes I just call it amusement, like, wow, there's a lot going on in this kitchen right now, without being at war with it or needing our child, who, I think most of our children, they do know that they're loved, but do they have to prove it to us? Do they have to announce it and reassure us and demonstrate?
And again, even when they say they do, do we believe them? Right. And if we don't love ourselves, we can't really believe them. It just is going to feel inauthentic as much as we want to believe that it's true for them. Right. Until we love ourselves, we can't really buy it. And as we were doing this piece with the 4-year-olds, I had this opportunity to be in the kitchen with my children like 40 and 50 years ago, with these 3 beautiful children running in the kitchen, and I thought they were burden. And through our work today, I was able to go back and, oh my God, good times. Good times. I can honestly say that now from here. And I wish that for all of you. And thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Katie. So this is part 1 of 3 parts. So we get together again next week at the same time. We're going to have the replay available. For more about my work, please visit susanstiffelman.com. And there's lots of content and information, and of course links to this event and
for the work on parenting. It's May 20th and 27th. Yeah. This live webcast again.
But you have other events too coming up.
Yeah, I have the No Body Intensive coming up June 1st through 5th, and then I'm in Omega, Rhinebeck, and in New York. And then the tour in Europe starts July 9th through the 21st. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you in Amsterdam and Engelberg and Paris and Zurich and Cologne and Bad Neuenahr and who knows where else.
Well, we're so grateful to all of you for tuning in, for visiting this possibility in your hearts, sharing it with those in your tribe. I imagine sometimes a world where, well, this is a pretty good one already, but imagine what the possibilities for us and for our children when we aren't at war.
Yeah, a better world, an example of peace. And if we can't find peace within our homes, within ourselves, how can we expect the world to live in peace? So, invitation to peace. And Susan, thank you.
Thank you, Katie.